Hey guys, we're back today with Joanna Rushton, and we're doing a Q&A session. And yeah, so we'll get started. We did get a few questions through from you. So one of them was whether the program that we're doing with Joanna is actually suitable for breastfeeding mums. So over to you with that one, Joanna.
Thanks, Jess. Hi, everybody. Yeah, look, the program is very much suitable for pregnant mums, also breastfeeding mums. Another question came through as to whether or not the program was suitable for celiacs. The answer is yes, and the reason why I'm going to qualify that because the program is about teaching people how to not just create a lifestyle that is going to address their health problems, which is a key factor here, but it's about teaching people how to understand what their individual body is needing. Okay, so we have to realize that one man's food is another man's poison, and quite frankly, you just cannot take a blanket approach with everybody. So, for example, you can't take a blanket approach that that gluten is bad for everybody. Yes, research shows that over 51% now of white Caucasians are susceptible to non-celiac gluten sensitivity, and this is growing. Absolutely, it is. But it's understanding how do you know whether or not gluten is interrupting or impacting your health negatively. And this is the sort of thing that you learn in the program. You actually learn whether or not you are somebody genuinely who needs to get off gluten and needs to get off all of these very poor gluten alternative products. Okay? And if you happen to be somebody who isn't one of those, then what kind of gluten-based products should you be looking at? What are the top high-quality sprouted grains, sprouted alive grains, and how do you prepare them? Where can you buy them? And are they available out there in terms of certain types of bread, as an example? Now, I have clients that have no gluten sensitivities whatsoever. They do really well on certain types of grain, but it's about educating them on the quality of the grain, the quality of the product that they're buying, so that they don't start to become, in a few years' time, later down the track, susceptible to gluten issues brought on by taking in really bad, poor quality grain that's highly processed and isn't genetically matched to our own genes. So this is one of the important premises that I'm trying to make with this program here, Jess, is that it's about teaching people how to have a relationship with their body, how to interpret what is right for them, what is their body sharing with them, showing them all of these symptoms that people are constantly complaining about. And I read it a lot on your page, Jess. A lot of people are either suffering from, the common one I was reading just last week was, weight gain and not being able to shift weight after pregnancy, as an example. And, I noticed that in the thread, lots of different things were being suggested. And that it could possibly be a thyroid problem, and that it could possibly be, down to not enough exercise. And somebody else was commenting that it, come off your dairy, and someone else was commenting on, lots of different suggestions out there. And as much as the suggestions are all great and supportive, they can end up being really overwhelming for the individual, because they're like, well, where do I start? What should I do? And, rule number one is you've got to look at what you're currently doing. And out of what you're currently doing, what is having the biggest negative impact? Because the truth is, Jess, you can't change everything all at once.
No.
Okay? People don't have the time, the energy, the know-how. It's about making small incremental steps. Okay, and you have to be able to look at what your choices in your life right now are, which ones are impacting you the most, which ones are creating the biggest negative deficit in your system, and we need to start there. And this is what this program is about. This is why this program is designed to have me there coaching people every week. It's not a do it DIY, pay for it and go away and work it out yourself, with the video tutorials. It's about giving people the information they need, some structure format to follow, but then to have me to answer and coach them as they go, as they're having the experiences of implementing the recommendations, have me there to coach them through what their experiences are, what their challenges are, so I can help them navigate where they might be going wrong, what they might need to be fine-tuning. Because in my 15 years of experience, everybody is different. Okay, in a lot of ways we're the same, but when it comes to fine-tuning nutrition, when it comes to fine-tuning what's going to work for you to help manage your stress, there's an analogy when it comes to working out, especially for females. We're equal, but we're not the same. So how you train a female body is very different to how you train a male body. Okay, we need to keep that in the back of our mind, equal but not the same. And there was a lot of comments in that thread in particular around increasing the intensity of a workout and doing more anaerobic type of training, high intensity for lower periods of time. And with all due respects, the body has to be qualified for that.
Yep.
We have to understand what someone's overall physiological stress load is, which I can help them to do through this program, before we start prescribing whether or not, less amounts of cardio, more weight needs to be done, or what the particular mix of exercise is needed. It's about balancing the autonomic nervous system, the sympathetic, which is known as our fight and flight, and our parasympathetic, known as our rest and digest. And you can look at those two sides of the autonomic nervous system as your yin and your yang. One nurturing, restorative, rejuvenating, regenerating, and one is outwardly catabolic in terms of expressive, and it breaks you down. And it's learning how to balance those two energies. When, what we need to do in terms of to exercise and create a healthy amount of sympathetic response in the body, which we need in order for it to evolve and for it to maintain a healthy level of balance. But then we need to also learn how to bring in the parasympathetic system that regulates digestion, metabolism, recovery, growth, reproductive repair, and balancing our hormones.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that goes into this.
A lot more than a weight loss program. It sounds to me like it's a lifelong education about understanding your body and your body's needs and how to actually approach all of these things on an individual basis, rather than some blanket, here you go, eat 1,200 calories a day and flog yourself for the next 30 days. Some weight might come off and then you'll put some back on and nothing will really change in the long term. That's what I'm hearing.
Jess, that's my experience with, I would say, 99.9% of the market that go for these, fad diets or weight loss gimmicks. I mean, even our 12-week Michelle Bridges program out there, that I've heard a lot of, even friends of mine have done it. And the reality is they've got results, but the reality is maintaining the recommendations is very, very challenging, because a lot of it is also based in the amount of exercise that you have to do. It's based on a calorie, how many calories you're allowed. And this brings us back into a realm that is not sustainable long term. It's great for a kickstart. Great for a kickstart, okay? But unless that kickstart program program is teaching you how to transition and sustain what you've achieved, then it's a short-lived kickstart. And
Yeah,
the biggest
long-term health problems as well. If you put yourself on a calorie restriction and flog yourself, you know, you're looking at adrenal fatigue, you're looking at a whole range of other long-term health issues that you'll then have to go back and try and resolve as a result of not managing things in a long-term sustainable fashion.
Exactly. And you know, one of the key things that this program right at the very beginning offers you is an opportunity to get really clear about why it is that you're doing this. Because one of the key reasons why people don't stick to anything long term and actually create a new lifestyle and a new state of being is because they haven't spent any time really getting clear for themselves why it is that they're doing this. They tend to have reasons that are very, what I call, reasons that offer us instant gratification but aren't grounded in any form of long-term reason or why. So,
Yeah.
you know, there's a very well-known speaker out there called Simon Sinek, and he says that, you know, it doesn't matter what you do, it matters why you do it. And if your why is simply just to lose weight, or if your why is only to have more energy, like I've mentioned before, they're not big enough reasons. They're very short-lived reasons. You can get a bit more energy instantly by just doing a couple of things I'm going to ask you to do in the first couple of days of the program, and you'll have instant energy. And if that's your only why of doing it, then you've achieved it within the first 2 days. But what's your big enough why to keep doing what I'm going to ask you to do for the next 60 days? Yeah? If you've achieved that in the first 2 days, then there's going to be a part of you that goes, oh, well, you know, I've got more energy, I'll just keep doing that. Whereas if you actually really get clear as to why you are doing this program, which is what we do in the first week, because I want everybody who's listening in on this call right now to ask themselves this: what do they love enough to change for? What matters enough in their life to change for? There's been a couple of comments on the forum threads around, you know, oh, this program sounds just like what I need. I just wish I could afford it. Well, I'm going to be really blunt here, but at $4 a day, which is roughly what it works out to be over 60 days, which is the price of a cup of coffee, I really need people to ask themselves, what kind of value and priority are you placing on your life, on your health, on your well-being, if $4 a day isn't a sacrifice you can make? So the question is, what are you prepared to give up in order to experience the results you want? You know, that's a blunt but what I call tough love question. Because you need to be able to answer that. If you want to get the results, we need to be in there wholeheartedly. Okay, so, you know, let's just go over some of the benefits of the program.
Yeah.
Not only are you going to get a 21-day meal plan along with all of the recipes, okay, that go with that meal plan. We have very structured lessons along the way around how to audit your kitchen, how to audit your pantry and your fridge. We have very structured processes in order for you to understand, if we're going to take the principle of removing sugar from our diet as one example and one aspect of the program, what and how do we need to start looking and reading labels? Where are all of the hidden sugar that up until now I thought I was doing a good job at being sugar-free, and now Joe goes and points out, oh my God, that's actually sugar, and I had no idea, because of all these varying chemical names that no longer just say sugar, you know, but could be a whole spectrum of, multidextrose, sucrose, anything ending in OSE comes from the sugar family.
Yeah.
Okay, but then when you go into plant sugars and saccharides, then they have other chemical names as well, which people have no idea that they're actually sugars. So looking at how we can reduce, sugar content from our diet, learning how to read labels, and massive benefit from the program is people really understanding the difference between fats, the good, bad, and the ugly.
Yep.
Okay,
yep.
And what does that mean? You're constantly getting questions about fat. Sorry, you just dropped out then for a second, Jess.
Yeah, it's a question I get every day of the week, absolutely. Especially running the Heart Foundation petition, because once people read that margarine and canola oil are bad, and that's what they've been using their whole life, they're like, oh my God, what do I use, No idea.
Yeah. So what this program is going to teach you is not only does it give you a whole list of the fats that you want to be cooking with and not cooking with, it also gives you a list of fats that you're wanting to avoid, but it also gives you the education around why. Okay, it's really important that people understand why they're being asked to do what they're being asked to do, rather than just being told to do something and just do it. Because in most cases, when you get told to do something without truly understanding why, then you tend to only do it for so long. And if you're not getting the results you want, then you tend to stop a whole lot quicker than if you understand why you're doing it, and understanding that it's going to take a little bit more time to balance the body.
Yeah.
Now, this program is going to, especially for females, it's going to really help the females balance their hormonal system. People who don't even realize that they are estrogen dominant, that they don't realize that they are insulin sensitive, and these are all factors that are playing back into all of these thyroid issues that I keep hearing. And we can spend a lot of money on getting thyroid tests, or we can make some fundamental changes in our diet, stick to it for long enough, and start to see the body able to regulate itself. Because that's exactly what the body...
medication, which is synthetic and has its own problems as well. So if you can manage it with diet and with lifestyle changes, it would be far preferable to having being on drugs forever.
I mean, I work with people every single day, Jess, that over a period of time, with implementing the recommendations, all of which are in the program, when I'm working with people on a one-on-one basis, over a period of 3 months, I take them off they are able to come off their statin. They're able to come off their diabetes drugs. In a lot of cases where I've had thyroid irregulations, they've been able to come off their thyroid medication. In instances where the individual doesn't have a thyroid, then that is obviously very different, because the body no longer has a thyroid, and in some cases I'm working with people who don't have a thyroid and don't have a gallbladder, and in which cases the system is requiring additional support. But in the cases of trying to bring balance back,
people getting to the point where they have to have their thyroid and gallbladder removed, getting before that would be amazing for the population.
Exactly.
To work with people that have already had to go down that path is fantastic as well.
So, at the end of the day, I think that people, until they have an experience, that is often the greatest challenge. Until they have an experience and they feel that, oh wow, this really does work. That tends to be my personal experience with clients. All of my business is based very much on referral. and therefore they are clients that that have got the results, they're maintaining the results, and they're sending more people along with various irregularities, and therefore it's through their recommendations, and it's through seeing seeing their friends. Oh my gosh, what have you done? How come you've lost all this weight? How come you got all this energy back? You're looking fantastic. What are you doing? And that is always very much the scenario as to where my clientele comes from. It's very much word of mouth. I'm very, very much a results-driven practitioner. I'm very much about getting results. And as I said to you before, this program is being designed so that you and I can reach more and more people. We're both in the same field of wanting to help and support as many people as possible, and that's what Get a Fresh Start does. And now you're opening up into the opportunity to give to your tribe an amazing program that is going to actually change not just their lives but the lives of their family. So, do you have any other questions, more questions about the program? How else can I assist you to? Because I know that you've been through and looked through the entire program, which is why you've been so supportive of wanting to get this on board, because you want to go through it yourself and take your tribe with you through the program.
How funny I am about recommending anything. I've had hundreds of people bring things to me that they want me to recommend to my audience, and I'm very strict with my what I will and won't recommend, which is why I don't recommend pretty much anything. And it did take me a long time, like many months of you and Susie showing me what you've put together and talking through whether it's appropriate and suitable for my audience, because I have such a strict criteria for what I will put out there. And when I did look through the program, I think it's absolutely amazing. And like I said before, it's not just a weight loss program. That's a benefit of the program. It's a lifelong education program, and there's stuff around sleep, there's stuff around hydration, there's stuff around food, stuff around balancing your hormones, a whole gamut of, and it's in such a, like when you get the daily emails and it's just in a little chunk and a little manageable piece instead of a massive thing that we have to overhaul our whole life in 1 second, which is not doable, and then just a little, daily worksheet or whatever, and then your coaching on top of it. Like I haven't even experienced the full-on, mentoring and support of the private forum, which everyone that signs up will be able to get as well. So I'm really excited to actually do the program with the first intake, be in there supporting people with you, and overhaul and change some of the aspects of my own life that I'm still struggling with. So obviously I don't need to lose weight, but I still have challenges with my health. I still have challenges with my gut health. I still have challenges with my energy after being so sick for so long. So to be able to do a program like this that will actually support me in my own health goals as well, with the amazing coaching and support from yourself, and with people that that I talk to on the forums and deal with every day on the main page, is going to be amazing. And I can't wait to be in the private forum with people and getting that support and seeing the amazing results that I know people are going to get, because I truly believe in you and your program, and I know that it's going to absolutely change people's lives. So it's very exciting.
It is, Jess. And another part that I love about the program is that on week 3 we run a competition whereby everybody who's doing the program has the opportunity of winning a one-on-one Skype consult with me, completely as a private, totally separate, so that they, if there's additional questions that they haven't felt comfortable asking within the forum, then they have this awesome opportunity, on week 3 through the competition we run, for them to actually have me completely to themselves on a one-on-one Skype consult. So that's another area in the program. We run various challenges throughout the first 30 days to as a way of implementing certain lifestyle changes and lifestyle habits. So we run certain challenges, Um, and then, another part of the program which I've had a lot of feedback around has been the meditations. So you get a download of certain audio meditations, and they're designed for different times of the day. So one meditation is like, literally 8 minutes, and it's to set your day up so that, we talk a lot about mindset, and we talk about what it is that we're creating in our bodies through our mind and through our thoughts. And if you take on the analogy that our biography literally becomes our biology, then you understand that your biography is every thought, every idea, every belief, all of your programming. And as you run your program, and as you invest more time in your thoughts, to the degree in which they have a low vibration and a negative connotation, then that's the feedback loop that is being fed back into the body. So quite literally, whatever you think, the body believes. And at a biochemical level, the body then starts to change in order to take on the belief of what you're thinking. So if you are sitting there with incredibly stressful thoughts, then the body starts to release stress hormones, because the body doesn't differentiate between what is really happening and it being a reality versus it just being a thought. So a simple analogy of that is, if you sit there and you're thinking that you're being chased by a lion, and that's what you're believing in that moment, regardless of whether it's true, the body starts to take on a biochemical change hormonally to reflect the situation of being chased by a lion, even if it's not actually happening. But for as long as it's happening in your head, then that's exactly what the body believes. And it's interesting, I do, when I teach Paul Chek's Holistic Lifestyle Coaching Level 1, which is a 3-day course, there's a section in there which goes a lot more deeply into the science of that, so people can understand. And what I do is I give a practical example of that, so people can actually have an experience of what I'm saying. And so I'll share this with you now, and anyone who ever finds themselves doing the course in the future will not be surprised by this. But what I do is I have a little box, and when I'm teaching this, I ask everybody to put their hand up, those who have either a spider or a snake phobia. Anyone scared of snakes? Anyone scared of spiders? And you guarantee that in my last group, 4 to 5 people put their hands up. And so I say to them, great, awesome. Now's the opportunity for you to overcome that phobia. Are you ready to do that? And straight away, you can start to see their body language change. You can start to see their eyes open big and wide. And their whole body starts to go, oh my God, no, I don't want to do this. And I say, come on, I've got a tarantula in this box, and this is your opportunity to realize and overcome this fear. You can do this. You've got the support of everybody in the group. You can do this. Let's do it. And I head over to their table with the box, and I just say to them, can you just share with me right now what it is that you're feeling in your body? And they'll say, my heart is racing, my hands are wet and clammy, I'm starting to shake, and I'm feeling so incredibly anxious. And in one situation, in one setup, I had a girl who actually literally, as I started to walk over to her, she got up out of her chair and she started making it to the door. She was that out by it. And and then, so of course, what do? I open the box and there's nothing in it. There's no spider in there. But I said, you thought there was. But there isn't. So the reality is whatever you think. And your body and the response that your body is having is one in which is believing that there was something in that box, but it's not true. And it's a beautiful way of giving people the experience of realizing that whatever it is that they're thinking, for as long as they believe it's true, then their physiology will start taking on the relative responses that the body will need to do in order to reflect what it is that you're thinking and believing. And when we consider that we have about 68,000 thoughts a day, and about 95% of those are negative, and you think about what feedback that is having in the body at a biochemical, physiological level. We got 68,000 thoughts happening a day, and according to the research of Deepak Chopra, out of those 68,000 thoughts a day, 95% of them are negative.
It's a little bit scary, isn't it? I wasn't aware of that.
And exactly. And so this program is about helping people become aware of what their dominating thoughts are, how that's feeding back into the body, and how it's feeding back into the health of the body. And more importantly, how can we start to shift that negative thinking or that negative vibration and start to take on a more empowering set of thoughts, a more empowering set of beliefs, so that we can actually change our reality. So we can change at a level how our body is thinking.
I think this in particular really sets the program apart from anything else on the market. Most programs are about food and exercise, but if you don't have then they're doing that the wrong way anyway, so it's not particularly helpful. But if you don't have the mindset and the thoughts and the belief system and moving out the limiting beliefs and putting in new beliefs, all of it is pretty much useless anyway, even if you did have the food and the movement and all the other factors right. Without the belief system and the thought patterns in place and changing those negative thoughts to more positive, empowering, affirming thoughts, what's the point really?
Exactly. And we know that that is the hardest part to work on. Okay, let's get real here. We know that it's easier to change our diet, it's easier to go out and do some exercise than it is to actually sit and start to work with the uncomfortable thoughts that we're spending most of our day trying to run away from, and most of our day to try and avoid. Okay? And so we know that the mindset and working with changing how we think and changing our beliefs to align to what we really want, we know that that is the toughest and the most challenging part of any program. Because, as Henry Ford once said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right, because thinking makes it so.
Yeah.
And so, unless we're spending a good quality amount of time in coaching and supporting people to change their mindset to support the outcome they want, then they're always going to be what I call sabotaging themselves and literally cancelling out with the universe what it is that they want. When they think one thing, but then they go and do another.
Yeah.
And so it's helping and supporting and coaching people to align themselves with the type of thoughts that are going to support the actions that they're needing to make and the changes that they're needing to make. Because aligning our thoughts to self-empowering, self-supportive, lifting your energy so that you have a greater level of self-esteem, a greater level of self-value. Without this mindset for ourselves, firstly, at the end of the day, we go and make choices that align to what we believe. It's as simple as that. All day long, whatever choices you make, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's around your food, whether it's around your exercise, whether it's around your work and your career, you are making choices that reflect what you believe. And if you're not getting the results that you want, if you're not sure what it really is that you want in life, then look around you. Because that is what you're creating. Yeah. And if when you look around you, that's not what you're wanting to create, then it's no good continuing to look outside of yourself for what needs to be changed, because it happens from within you.
Yeah, for so long I was in that victim mentality that, you know, everyone was an arsehole and all of the things in my life were a result of other people, you know, doing things to me, or, you know, factors outside of my control. You know, and there are some things where that may be the case briefly, but in reality, you're in control of your life. And, you know, we've all got to drop the victim mentality. I see so many people walking around with this big victim sign on their head, and all that's really doing is hurting them and not changing any of their circumstances. And, you know, just waiting in the same old BS all day, every day.
Exactly.
And it's you know, it's horrible having to look at our own behaviours and our own thoughts and all of that stuff, and going within to change our outside world and to change what's around us. It's the hardest thing you'll ever do. But once you actually do that and have the support and know-how and tools to do that, it's amazing the way your life and world changes.
And that's, you've said it in a nutshell there, Jess, and one of the key things there is for people to realize that they have an opportunity right now to start making that change, and that they don't have to feel alone in doing it. It doesn't have to be as hard as what it can be when you're doing it by yourself. This is an opportunity to have somebody who's been in this field. I've been doing this for over 15 years, working with people, changing their consciousness, raising their level of awareness for how they think in relationship to what they're looking to create, and helping them to shift their way of thinking to create a new reality for themselves. And that's where it starts. And this program is going to give people an opportunity to do that and not feel the struggle and the anguish and the, you know, what can often feel is literally, it's all too hard, is quite often what I hear from people that the top, you know, the top avoidances are, it's too hard, I don't have enough time, you don't understand. That's another biggie. You just don't understand. Well, you know, I do understand. I've been there, and believe it or not, nobody is that special that they can't, if they are open to the support and open to receiving the help, then there's no reason why they can't change if they want it enough. Okay, if they want it enough. And I urge people to, I urge people from here to jump onto the link and literally have a look at the page, have a look at and listen to some of the testimonials for people who have been through it. You know, there's an array of type of people that go through the program, from you know, mothers to business owners to, you know, corporate individuals. You know, the spectrum is wide, and if you just go on and have a read through and have a listen to the testimonials, then
watch the one with you, and then the man and the woman. They're fantastic videos to watch and really understand the program a little bit more. Yeah,
because, you know, at the end of the day, I'm going to be blunt. For those that really want change, then stop making excuses. You know, you have an opportunity here to be part of an awesome forum, an awesome program, and an opportunity to really change your health and your life for the better. And, you know, if you're ready to you know, quit the excuses and actually commit and do something about it, then the level of support that you're going to get is going to be outstanding, and you'll realize it's the best thing that you've ever done for yourself. You know, all you need to do is be sure in your mind and your heart that you want to change. That's all you need to be sure of, that you want to change.
Yeah.
The rest will unfold each day as I coach you through the program.
Yeah. All right. Beautiful. That's a great note to end.
Yeah. If there's any more questions, then happy to answer them. If want to write any more questions in, then happy to do so. But everything else should be pretty straightforward if you go to the link and go to the website.
Yeah, and the first intake starts next Monday. So from a week from now, we'll be jumping in together and starting the program and having 60 days with Joanna and myself, and changing our lives for the better. So it's very exciting. Thanks for talking to us again, Joanna, and I will see you on the forum. And yeah, like Joanna said, if anyone has any questions, just comment on the event page or in the chat group or whatever, and we'll answer them. And yeah, let's jump in. Let's do it.
Let's do it, guys. Yes.
Cool. Talk to you soon.
All right. Take care.